Hey, today we're here in my shop. I'm just going to talk about how I sharpen my knives, and we're going to talk about how I sharpen my knives in the shop, how I sharpen my knives every day on my truck. I think sharpening your knives after every horse is just a very simple, quick procedure that shouldn't take you any more than 5 seconds. So I'm going to talk to you about the blade on a knife, how it's constructed, the wheels to use, and the rouges that I use that you can have on your truck and just touch your knives up very simply after every horse. So when you have a sewn buff wheel, if you run your finger over, you can tell the direction the fibers are going. Smooth this way, and I'm going against the fibers this way. So when you put your buff onto your machine, make sure it's traveling in the direction you want. I run my machines opposite. So when I say opposite, I would like to sharpen off the top with the wheels going away from me, as opposed to the wheel coming down. I can't see where my blade goes here. If I sharpen off the top with the wheel traveling away from me, I could watch my cutting edge the whole way through. With that being said, most blades are hollow ground. Hollow ground meaning they have a little bit of a bevel in there. If you take your sewn buff, you can see how a sewn buff fits into that hollow grind perfect and is able to sharpen your knife. So today we're going to take a knife that is finished with a hollow grind in it, and I'm going to show you how I sharpen my knives. So the first thing to think about are the two different types of rouges that you have. There's many different options. These are the two that work for me best. I have a very aggressive gray compound that will take steel, and then I have a pink compound that is a polisher and a sharpener. This will sharpen, this will put a high polish sharpen on. So we're going to go through this and talk about the different wheels that I have set up. These are the sewn buffs. They have stitching going through, keeping it very tight. But the sewn buffs also have a radius in them, which is going to follow the radius of your knife. I like to use the sewn buffs for the inside of the knife. And then over here we have a felt pad that is very hard, stays very flat, and this will do the back sides of my knife, keeping the back side of the knife very flat while doing the sharpening on the inside of the blade. I have my grinders set up to where they travel away from me. That way, when I come in, I'm able to look at the top of my blade as it comes across the buff and sharpens and polishes the inside of my knife. On the hard felt pads, you don't want to run those on the inside. You want to run those on the outside by applying some pressure and keeping the backside of your knife flat and coming to the inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the machines on. I'm going to run over the gray, then the gray on the felt hitting the back. Then we're going to go to the pink rouge on my pink wheels, follow the same procedure, and get my final polish and sharpening. So we're going to turn the machine on. Like I said, I like the machine rotating away from me. I'm going to apply my gray rouge. We're going to work the inside of the blade. You can see how that gray does cut steel. with the sparks there. I'm just going to work it lightly back and forth, just buffing the inside. After the inside, I'm going to come over to the felt pad, also traveling away from me. Apply my rouge. And I'm going to apply pressure with my thumb. Coming down on the back of the blade, keeping it as flat as possible. You can see the rouge building up on that cutting edge. That is what I'm looking for. And I'm going to roll that down onto the hook of the knife. This machine with the felt running 1800. This machine for the inside is running 3800 RPMs. After that's done, we're going to go to the pink, which is the scratchless pink I like to use. Really gives it a high sheen and also gives it a great polish for final sharpening. Here again, watching the edge, the cutting edge of the knife, I'm going to come down, pressing with my thumb towards the cutting edge. If you lay it back too far, that's what causes your knives to fly out of your hand. So you want to think about the radius of your wheel, the radius of your hollow grind, and don't allow the wheel to grab the back edge of your hollow grind, which is throwing it out of your hands. So apply the pressure towards the edge. Don't go too steep. If you go too steep, you're getting more of an axe cutting effect. You want these knives to be razor sharp, to be able to whittle with, and take very fine amounts of hoof. You don't want them cutting too deep, so you don't want that kind of an angle. You want it to just sit into that hollow grind, pressing towards that cutting edge. Working it back and forth. Now we're going to come over to the felt pad again with the pink rouge. What we're going to do is we're just going to polish the back part of the blade again and have that back part of the blade come up really clean up to give us a great cutting edge. We're just going to press a little bit of pressure there again on the cutting edge. You can see that rouge building up on the cutting edge. That way we know both edges are meeting together. We're going to roll it right down there onto the hook, keeping the hook sharp as well. Just take a piece of paper. Your knife should be able to just shave. That's all you want to do on a hoof capsule, is just come in and just shave little bits. You don't want to be digging, gouging in, taking a ton of foot. You're just taking fine little bits of the sole off. It's not there to just irrigate, it's there just to take a little bit. So I like my knives razor sharp, and with these few little simple steps, you should be able to achieve that. A lot of people sharpen different ways with chainsaw files. Really, with the equipment that we have on our trucks now, if you just go down to Home Depot, buy any kind of grinder, you can put the wheels on. You're looking at $10 wheel and a $70 wheel for the felts. They are a little bit more expensive, but I think they make a huge difference. These just get a little too narrow. They're rounded. Really, I don't like to do the backs of my blades on these. I like to keep them flat like these felts. This is its only job, is to just come down back of my blade, keeping it polished, keeping the burrs off, things like that. Next, we're just going to walk out to my shoeing truck, and I'm just going to show you. I have a very basic, simple Home Depot grinder on there with the sewn buff and the felt pad on there. So here we are at the truck. This is simple Home Depot, any place, Ryobi, half horsepower. Have my sewn buff on this side, and on this side I have my felt for the backs. So it's very simple, very cost effective, and when I get done with the horse, I just come over, touch my blades up, apply my rouge both sides. They shouldn't be dull if you do this after every horse. I just like to just touch them up, nothing more is needed. So here again, just watching the cutting edge, coming over to the backside, applying a little pressure, keeping that back edge flat, watching the cutting edge right here as that rouge comes around. Rolling it down onto my hook. And there you have it. Should have great sharp knives for the next horse to come. Let me know how it works for you. Glad you watched.